thank you to Matthew, because he's been holding this space, so tell me if I'm yelling too much, and so much aroha. And I saw some videos of him, and I thought I just have to get to Wellington. I was super stressed the whole last week not being here. I just had to get here. So I arrived last night, so I'm a bit of a newbie on the block. And the other thing that kind of drew me here was I saw a sign, I think on the Hare Krishna team, that said Dharma, not Big Pharma. And that's what resonated for me. So that's what I would like to talk a little bit about. I am able to be here. Thank you to Jacinda Ardern for the mandates. Prior to this, I was working for public health in Nelson for the DHB there. I have a different view on things. We all have the same purpose, that we want health for everybody, but there's more than one way to get health. And I'm a naturopath, and I see the world differently from a lot of the people in my office who are trained as nurses. They have a different paradigm of how they see things from how I do. I've gone through a bit of a journey, and I'm who I am, and they're who they am, and I respect them. They make their choices, and I make my choices, and I get repercussions for them. At the beginning of COVID, the motto was unite against COVID. And there's this other sentence that I've heard, unity and diversity. And I had not understood really fully what unity and diversity meant. But now I get a sense that to have unity, we need to respect each other, respect each other's different views, and enable them to have those, and listen to each other. And so we're here at Parliament protesting. And I would just like to point out that while we think this is the source of the problem, if this was the source of the problem, there wouldn't be protests in other parts of the world. So this is a global thing going on. This is one part of it. Once the mandates are overturned, I would invite you not to just go back to your normal life like things were normal, because this is systemic. It's been going on for decades. There's corruption, exploitation. If we want unity, we need to realize that anything that anyone is fighting for is all connected. Whether we're fighting for the environment, for women's rights, for children, for anything that we're fighting for is all connected. And I would invite you, if you are having a conversation with somebody and you're not on the same page, then go to the next level until you can find something that you agree on.
Yeah.
And I've done this with one of my brothers who was on a different page with me with this whole vaccination thing. And we managed to get to a space where we both agreed about something. And now even though they think that vaccination is their best choice, they still support this anti-exploitation movement, this freedom movement that is going on. And so in my job, I received an email, not an in-person anybody telling me, an email telling me that if I did not have a vaccine within 1 week, I would be out of a job within 1 week. So that was a huge shock to me. I knew that it was coming. I knew that because of the choices that I've made, that would be inevitable. But to give 1 week notice, where is respect there? And when I challenged, I had a few meetings with my employers prior to actually getting my termination notice. And this is one point I challenged them on. I said, COVID has been here for nearly 2 years. You knew about this. We were told that we wouldn't have our job in jeopardy, and now you give a 1 week notice. You knew about that. Where is the respect there? And the answer I got back was the vaccination rates weren't as high as they expected, and so these mandates were put in place to encourage people to get vaccinated. And where is the respect? Where is the choice there? And then I asked my bosses basically told me, one of them is quite high up within the public health. They told me I needed to talk to Jacinda. That's where the root of the problem is. So Jacinda, I would actually love to talk to you. A lot of people have I've heard a lot of hatred towards Jacinda. I don't have any hatred towards you, Jacinda. I love you. I would like you to listen to your heart again. because I don't think you're listening to your heart anymore. I think you've forgotten how to listen to your heart, and you've been listening to other people who have been advising you instead. And that's what we all have to do, and that's why everybody is here, is to listen to their heart and stand tall in their truth. And back to, unity. I just wanted to talk to you about the option, because one thing that I found very interesting when I was working in public health was that there was this whole report in 2019, which talked about the principles of the Treaty of Waitangi and how they apply to primary health. And one of these principles is the principles of options. And what options have been given to us? We've had the option of a vaccine or the option of no vaccine. And for me as a parent, I knew about vaccination and that there were risks involved. And so prior to becoming a parent, I found a different system, which is as old as vaccination, which doesn't have the risks. And this system has been completely suppressed from its very inception. I don't know how many of you have heard of homeoprophylaxis or using homeopathy as a preventative. Okay, so a few people do. The studies that I've seen on it have been about 90% effective. They've done these with proper professors against meningococcal disease. They've done it against Japanese encephalitis, leptospirosis, lots of different diseases, viral and bacterial origin. And all of them have come back about 90% effective, and all of them 100% safe. Nobody has ever died from having this, because it's subtle medicine. There's no risk. And why haven't we heard of this? It's because as soon as COVID came out, if anybody offered any other alternative, any option, they would be censored, they would be sued, they would be sent warning letters having everything taken down. And not even allowed to advertise that you have anything. So I'm not allowed to tell anybody that I might have an option, because we're not allowed to do that. It's against the law to offer any other options. And it's been like this from the beginning. I knew right from the beginning of COVID that something was up, because right from the beginning, anyone who offered any other alternatives was squashed. And there are many alternatives out there. That's one alternative. This other woman before was talking about another alternative. So we need to be given these options, and with full information of the risks and side effects and benefits of everything. Not have the information chosen for us, of someone deciding for me what is best for my body, because I am the one who knows what's best for my body. And so this slogan that I saw, Dharma, not Big Pharma. Have you heard of Dharma before? Some people have heard of Dharma. So I kind of interpret Dharma as being like my inner truth. So I've heard it said that the Dharma of fire is to burn, and as human beings we have our Dharma, which is the same as animals, which is like our fear and procreation, all that sort of thing. And we also have a few other things which animals don't have. And this is what has been guiding, I've noticed that this is what's been guiding me when I listen to my heart and follow my heart and my intuition and my inner truth. These different aspects that I've been taught about with Dharma is how I can tell that I'm living my highest truth. So I'd like to share them with you, because we all need to stand in our own truth and see if these resonate. So the first one is this principle of expansion, and expansion on all levels, physical, mental, spiritual. And for this it means overcoming obstacles. So I'm not someone who's comfortable usually speaking in public. We have to now we have to stand up in our truth and overcome any obstacles we have. For sixth form we had to do a speech on something we felt strongly about. So I stood up and I said, I feel very strongly about my right to remain silent. And I stood there because I hated public speaking. Even the first time I tried, my voice just stopped working. So yeah, we have to overcome these obstacles and expand. And I know that when I had this really big calling to come here, and when I do follow through with what's right for me, I feel an expansion of my heart. I feel more open to love, an expansion of my mind, expanding my ideas. So that's the first principle. And the second one, which I like, the Sanskrit word, is rasa. which means to be in the flow. And I know when I followed my Dharma because everything flowed just beautifully. So last night I had this beautiful experience. I arrived at 9:15. I was supposed to be in Waikanai by 10 o'clock, otherwise I wasn't able to stay there. And I just had this calling, I had to stay here, and then I didn't have a tent with me, I wasn't prepared, so I walked to the info tent, and they were just packing up, and I just said, oh, I'm looking for a tent, and then another sister said, oh, I'm looking for a tent too, let's go look for a tent together. And then next minute, a guy comes along and said, I know where there's a tent, so I went to my tent, and I'm just over there, which is a pretty cool spot. I don't even have to get up to come and watch. And the other cool thing, I wanted to, I came here with my harmonium. I just couldn't come without my harmonium because I love music. And I wanted to do kirtan, and I wanted to do this mantra that I love to sing, which is Bhavanam Kevalam, which means that infinite love is all there is. And I arranged to meet somebody, and we kind of didn't quite converse, but then he went off to try to find me, and then this other person was singing Bhavanam Kevalam, and so we just went and joined in, and so that was just to me proof that I'm following my Dharma, that I'm on my path, and probably many of you will have that experience too, when you're kind of living your highest truth and everything flows, all these coincidences, you feel alive, like life is beautiful when it's like that. And then this other aspect is a service. So someone said, if you've got ego, then maybe leave. So this service is kind of the opposite of ego, because what we're doing here is service. We're serving the future generations by being here and standing up for what is true. So thank you, everybody, for standing tall in your truth and being here, and I'm sure that you all had a calling to come here, and you may have had obstacles to overcome, but this was more important than anything else. And as a result of, there's another point in this Dharma which is kind of the resultant of these three, and I'm not very experienced with that, so I'm not going to talk about that one. But I did want to say that the irony of us being here at the beehive, and beehives usually are full of honey and sweetness. And I think that the sweetness had left, and that's why we all had to gather here to bring the sweetness back to the beehive. And I also thought it's funny because my full name is Madhu Mita, which means friend of the divine sweetness. So I came here and I just felt this. So everyone's just family, they're so beautiful, everyone's opening their hearts, and isn't it so sweet? And the other thing relating to sweetness, the 12th of February in my spiritual tradition is a festival called Nilakanta Devas, which is celebrating the victory of good over evil, of Dharma over a-Dharma. Because this is actually a big fight that we're in, a Dharma versus a-Dharma. This is a massive fight. And where there is Dharma, there will always be victory. So that day is to celebrate the victory. And the way that we can overcome this poison is by sweetness. Sweetness will overcome poison. And it just happened to be that day. I didn't even realize when I wrote a song. Well, I don't know if I wrote it, it just kind of came to me, my songs do. And it just happened to be on that day that we celebrate the victory of Dharma over a-Dharma. So I'm just going to read it out. So this is a song, but if any musicians here want to help put a tune to it, that would be really cool. I'm just going to read the words though. I don't put my faith in any politician, not when it goes against my intuition. The media tells me what they want me to hear, but it's sounding like they just want to propagate fear. I don't trust anyone who says they're the one source of truth. It makes me think they're lying and suppressing the proof. They're censoring our communication. This is a war on information. But I've got a solution. What we need is a revolution. So unite, trust your heart, don't let them tear us apart. Divide and rule is an age-old tool, but uniting in love is worlds above. So let's learn to listen to each other, our sisters and our brothers. It's not that one is right and another is wrong. We've all got a line to a beautiful song. The song of how we live in harmony, them and us, you and me. The animals, plants, mountains and sea, all of us have a right to be free. But us humans have the most responsibility. We need to care for one another like family, even if sometimes we don't agree. So this is a solution, a loving revolution. Listen to your heart so you can play your part. That's all you've got to do is live your highest truth. Put your faith in love and rise up above. Let's inspire one another, our sisters and our brothers, and learn to sing together in harmony forever. Thank you.